Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay
This
Moore.
is Greg Proops.
This is Jordan Harbinger.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This is
East.
Sebastian Younger.
This is Rick
This
Marotta.
is Stuart Copeland.
This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summers.
Hey, this is Skunk Baxter.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
Hey, everybody, you are watching the Break It Down show. This is John Leon Guerrero, along with Pete A. Turner.
And now, the Break It Down show with John Leon Guerrero and Pete A. Turner.
And today our guest will be, at some point, Lanier Stewart, better known by millions and millions as DJ Severe. Now, he is arguably one of the people who has access to the most ear holes of any live entertainer who's out there. Of course, there are the great big worldwide acts, but for a guy who has a perch from which he plays,
right,
he gets the attention of roughly 4.5 million pairs of ears during regular season baseball. Now that's a number that jumps up during postseason, of which his team, the Los Angeles Dodgers, are very often a part.
Yeah.
So now, longtime listeners / viewers of the show will know that DJ Severe is our homeboy. So
yes.
I'm loving up our homeboy, and a lot of our viewers have heard all of these stats and seen him before. But he deserves to be loved up in many ways, and we're going to talk about some of those ways. He dials in. So we have him on appointment. He has not yet dialed in.
He's trying to get it now. He's just having a little bit of trouble. That claim that we make that he is the most listened to live DJ in the world, the universe. That I don't know where else you could go. If you were the traveling DJ for Formula One, maybe, because there's 500,000 people a weekend. And if you did 22 weekends a year, that's a lot. But that's what it takes. Like that kind of access. And I don't know that they travel the DJ. You just hire those guys local, right? But
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you have a package like that. But again, we're talking about the level of entertainment value that is calculated to the point where, Formula One, arguably the most precise sport of all of them.
Yeah.
And so naturally they would get that right. And so we don't know what the inner workings of the DJ environment is for the guy who provides the music around the Formula One course.
Turn your phone that way if you can. There you go.
Yeah.
What up?
Just give him a minute to pull it together.
Yeah.
There he is. You're behind the wheel, man. Where are you driving?
No, he's still trying to get squared away.
All right. So while he's trying to get squared away, we're going to continue to talk about it. In the live environment, he's responsible for creating the entertainment vibe and inspiring the cheers of 56,000 people at a time in Dodger Stadium. And he does that throughout the regular season and the aforementioned postseason, of which the Dodgers are perennially a part. And in doing so, he's managed to garnish himself not one, but 2 World Series rings, and provided the musical backdrop for what many people will say this year was the most historic season in baseball in this century. So for both providing musical context for entertainment value for Dodgers fans and ballpark viewers, also inspiring the players to bring their best, because that's
I believe he just pulled up at the Ivy for a lunch with Danny DeVito is what it looks like he just did. Take you off.
He decided to stop short before he hands his keys over to the valet at the Beverly Hills Hotel, because they have a brunch buffet the day before Thanksgiving. And he happens to like the brunch buffet there in the Eggs Benedict. What's up, man? Can we hear you?
Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh,
working
I
on
tell
it.
you what it
There
might
it is.
be.
There it is. How about that?
There it is.
There,
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Anyway, so were you able to hear all of that
Yeah, I
amount of
was.
fluff?
I was. I was. I was. I was.
You
So now
deserve
that you
every
got-
bit of it, man.
The thing I got to ask on the air, so you can tell everybody: are you going to now have the Mike Burrito lean because you got 2 rings on one hand and you just can't possibly get them 2 rings up any higher?
I hope so.
I told John about this, and when we saw Mike, the one time we came to the game,
Uh-huh.
Burrito was leaning.
Sure
Yeah,
enough, man,
yeah.
looked like he had a shoulder issue. He was like,
That might be
that's the
because
Jeffrey-
that might
yeah.
be that might be for cigars in his pocket too. That might be for that. 'Cause he- yeah, or
Yeah,
always has
it's
so many
kinda like
cigars in his pocket.
It's like the Jeffrey Leonard of
Yeah.
ring having, just like,
Yeah.
oh man, just the arm swung so
Yeah.
hard.
yeah. Yeah, before we get to the nuts and bolts of this historic season and the baseball part of it, I have to ask because I wasn't there. What was because we brought up Mike Burrito, what was the tribute environment, celebrating the passing of Fernando Valenzuela this season?
It was a little different because you had let me get out of the car. You had the way that it was kind of happening and nobody kind of knew what was going on, and all of a sudden you got the word that he passed. So you're there and then you get the passing, and then with everything we always do something like we always do it big and kind of over the top, and we've gotten used to it because we already did Vin, we did Tommy and different things, and we did the inductions of like them to the Wall of Fame. But this one was different because
You didn't have any time to prepare.
you gotta make time to prepare, and then the way that he kind of like left out of the booth and then like didn't really tell anybody, so it was kind of like hush hush and a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and then what's going on, and then maybe this, maybe that. So then it was ironic because I actually went into the stadium one day to talk about some other stuff I was just getting ready, and I was meeting with one of my bosses, and then as I was walking out, he's like, Fernando just passed. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I was exiting out, and then I kind of went out into the hallway, and I was just kind of thinking about it. And I go, okay, because it's almost like you were like, okay, you kind of like prepared for that, but then you weren't prepared for that. And I talk to Fernando like every day. I see him just like, hey, Fernando, like he's sitting there, he'd be on the phone. There's a fist bump. And so you get that, then you start going over everything that you normally do when we celebrate somebody. So you say, okay, I know it's gonna be probably gonna be this, probably gonna be that. But then you stop and you think about the iconicness of it for the Latin heritage at the stadium. So this is kind of like a different thing. And you start saying, okay, everybody loves Vin, everybody loves Tommy, but like this is gonna be like on a different stage as far as the Latin community. So this is gonna be different from what we normally like do. So you kind of wait and see, and you kind of wait to see how they play it out, and then you get the script and you go, okay. And then you add now, and then this one's not gonna go just be one day. You can tell this is like gonna go on because we're now in the playoffs. And then when you see the irony of like we playing the Yankees last time we beat the Yankees, it was Fernando Mania, so the timing of all that. So you start tying all the other stuff into that, and then you kind of like know visually how it's gonna look. But you still don't get prepared for it because each time you do something like that, there's a different pressure from the show portion of it to create the best memory that you can. So you kind of sit back, and then I go into kind of prepare mentally, musically what I'm going to do or what we have to do, but kind of wait to see how it goes. Because you have your typical music that you're going to play, but then now I start trying to think, okay, what stuff that I know Fernando liked. so I can kind of do like kind of tailor make my own thing if it comes to it. So you see the script, and then you start getting into it. Then you get into it, and you go, man. Then you start thinking about when you walk back into the press box. Then I start thinking about the memories, like different things. I talked to Fernando. In fact, Fernando's tell me one time, he's like, Amigo, you never asked me for anything. I'm like, yeah, I never asked you for anything. I have a signed, I think I asked a couple people to sign something. Like I had something signed from my girlfriend's dad, but I never really thought he would not be there to get and never like press. So I just kind of saw him, and he's like thinking the surrealness of it. Like I was talking to Fernando like pretty much like every day. But for him to say, you never really asked me for anything, you know what I mean? And then I know the joking side of it, and then you start talking back to other people. Like I talked to Maria, who's been there for years, and she would say how much of a jokester he was, but then how much he also hated people too that try to take advantage of him, like asking for signatures to kind of like that weren't like genuine. That's why I kind of knew when he told me I never asked him for anything. I also knew why I didn't want to just be that person always asking Fernando to like sign stuff, because for one, I had my own like little piece of it, and then me, once I kind of like know you, I don't really want like signatures like that. It doesn't really do anything like for me. Because I mean, what am I gonna say? Okay, I'd rather enjoy the fact I know I can fist bump him and have a conversation with him like that. I mean, and it's different. It's even like Rick Monday. Me and Rick Monday, I talk baseball with Rick Monday, and he always gives me compliments. So there's a different thing of sometimes when you become friends. Now, Oral, talk to him every day, but Oral's always like, hey, anytime you need something signed, like you come to me. So it's different, but I like to ask him about baseball, like different things. My memorabilia that I really like have is really based off of friendship. Like I have a signed Kershaw, I have a signed Mookie Betts, and I have a signed Freddie Freeman. I have a signed Justin Turner jersey, but I have relationships with those people.
Yeah.
So like, those are just those that once I get my house, those are gonna go up. But it's like I also want to get a like I want to get a Gavin Lux, even though that's not a big name, but me and Gavin have a special relationship. Me and Freddie says he'll sign anything for me. So I'm not just like autograph seeking for the sake of it. Like I wanted each time I have a relationship with like different people, like kind of like what that means like to me. So they're just
it makes it mean something.
It makes it mean something because I say I have conversations. Like somebody might be like, well, why'd you have a Gavin Lux sign like jersey? Well, I mean, me and Gavin are friends. You know what I mean? Like me and JT are friends. So it's like, you know, and then me and Mookie, we have not a tight friendship like Justin Turner, but we have, when he sees me, like I have like this gift now that someone made for me, because on the We Won the World Series YouTube thing that's going out, there's a spot of Mookie seeing me on the float of the parade and kind of like pointing, and someone turned it into a gift for me. So it's like that's how me and Mookie is. Mookie sees me and he fist bumps me and then we like say what's up. So it's different. But I like to have my relationships with these people that mean more than like kind of like a signature. But for Fernando to tell me that one day, like that's my favorite memory of Fernando. Like, amigo, you never asked me to sign anything. Da 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 da. And I always tell him, I'll just tell him, like, man, I can see you're kind of to yourself, and I just know, like, I know the stories of people asking him for too much, but I also get it. Like that's Fernando. You know what I mean? But Fernando was very private. Like he didn't, before the games were over, or he would sneak out. That's kind of ironic how when he left the press box that day, he didn't say anything to anyone. That's just classic Fernando. Like, but for him to, like, I guess they say he left in the middle of like the broadcast. You know what I mean? That's not classic Fernando, but he normally slides out because everybody's looking for Fernando. There's so many people standing around looking, is Fernando in there? And I would say, no, he left already. You know what I mean? But he was never around like after like, but that was just classic Fernando just to slide out like that, you know. But that's
he was
what
a Mexican who mastered the Irish goodbye.
Oh yeah, he just slid out, and then nobody knew which door. I never like normally I know which door people leave from. I never knew which door Fernando like left from, and there's 3 different doors you could leave from, but I'd never seen him like leave out like that. He had to be good about it because everybody's looking for Fernando. You know what I mean? Everybody's looking for Fernando. So, and he always slide out at the right time and be gone. But that was my favorite part of him, like kind of like him saying, amigo, you never asked me for anything. You never asked me to sign anything. So
There's two things about that. Number one, of course, he meant it as a compliment because he knew that your friendship with him was genuine. You weren't trying to take
Right.
advantage of him.
right,
But number two, maybe he was trying to signal you that, hey man, I'm not gonna be here forever. Maybe, if you want something for your family or you want something to hang as a keepsake for you,
Yeah.
that he would offer it up.
yeah, I could definitely see that. And it just, I don't know, and I think that's what happened with me. I got caught up in thinking he was going to be there forever because
That's what we do.
that's what we do. And it's like, people were saying something about the weight loss, but I just thought he was eating better because I seen him. Like, I didn't see him like drastically. I just saw it over a period of time where he was like, okay, skinny Fernando. And he was still joking, still talking. And it was just kind of regular. His voice was always the same timbre. It was always like low. So I didn't see anything like different with it. That's why when he finally passed, I was really curious to see what he had like passed away from because like no one knew. But I mean, he was the same Fernando every day. And like it's funny for me to have grown up watching all these people and then have become friends with these people or have interactions with these people and then like being part of their ceremonies to induct them into the honor, but then also being part of their memorials too is like kind of surreal for me because you have Vin, you have Tommy, and you have now for like Fernando.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, you talked about Fernando Mania a second ago. We were at prime age to be right in the thick of Fernando Mania. All of that was happening when we were in all three of us being approximately the same age. We were in elementary school when we were playing Little League baseball. This was happening.
Right. And I think that might be the first sort of mania that starts off the mania type of thing for anybody. You know what I mean? There wasn't that many there wasn't that many manias before that. You know what I mean?
Not in our lifetime.
Yeah, not lifetime. I don't even know when it. I don't know when it got like kind of like, I guess, pegged as a mania. I think that was kind of a new thing for back then because I don't think anybody had seen anything like kind of like that before.
That was a cultural movement. I mean, maybe Joe DiMaggio, had something akin to that in the Italian American community. But man, it was like if you were around then, it didn't matter what team you rooted for, even if you grew up rooting for a rival. If you, as I did, if you were any kind of Latino, you couldn't help but love Fernando, root for Fernando, and he was really something special.
But also the dichotomy of that is the at that time the Dodgers weren't the biggest liked in the Latin community because they had torn up. I mean, the story behind Dodger being there and all the people that were displaced for putting that stadium there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they didn't have the best reputation amongst the Latin American community, which I know there's still some people that are hard pressed to like, they don't really root for the Dodgers like because of that. You know what I mean? But for him to come in and part of the mania and then kind of like either displace a big portion of that to help rebuild like around that's major too. That's another part that people don't really talk about, and rightfully so, because this, you know what I mean, it's not it rubs some people the wrong way, but and rightfully so. I mean, I guess if that's the way that they feel, but that's also the dichotomy in that. You know what I mean? In him coming along at the time, kind of like taking over baseball from the Latin community, which to me, that's the biggest fan base of like the Dodgers 100% and the biggest like supporters of it. You know what I mean? And to see what it represents like to them, I don't take that lightly when someone says, oh, I understand when they say, I'm looking for Fernando, or like, you see the Valenzuela jerseys. You got to take that serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like, because even for me, like Fernando, like my favorite players is Dusty Baker, Davey Lopes. Those were the ones that like resonate with me. So for me to talk to Dusty Baker, I know what that is. And when we honor Dusty Baker this year, that's why I was like, okay, yeah, this is me. Because Dusty Baker, Reggie Smith, Davey Lopes, you know what I mean? Like Bill Russell, those are like my core guys that I grew up kind of like watching,
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think we did a great job, which we usually do. And then also you start thinking about there's in the job when you work for the Dodgers, a lot of the teams don't have that many iconic players to really that you really can celebrate that way, even in their passing or whatever they did. So you have to take that into context too. A lot of teams don't have that much rich history that they can like celebrate and then have to honor that person like that. You know, so it's an honor.
Very true. The other thing for those viewers out there who don't realize that when we're talking about the LA Dodgers, we're not just talking about a team. We're talking about the team that is from the world's capital of entertainment.
Right.
So, like you said, hey, we get the script, we review the script. You just blew past that. But most people don't realize all that goes into the entertainment of a baseball game. And the fact that an event like that, there isn't just a guy who's going to get up and say a few words. There's an entire script for the entire cast of Dodger Stadium to understand the flow of the entertainment experience. And when you talk about entertainment in Los Angeles, you're talking about the talent pool. You know, I'm not disparaging Milwaukee, but whoever's doing the entertainment for the Brewers is the guy. He's the guy in Milwaukee. That's not the entertainment capital of the world.
Right.
You know, the guy who does an entertainment product in Los Angeles, the size and scope of the Dodgers is the reason that you guys have had all those iconic players, because you have led the league in the entertainment experience. And so naturally, if you're the best baseball player who's 19 years old and you have some choices about where you might want to play, naturally, you're going to play with whoever wants to employ you to play. But if you're a truly special generational talent and you have choices, your agent's going to go, look, man, you can play in Milwaukee or you can play in Los Angeles. And, you know, naturally you can play in Miami, you can play in New York. There's a lot of great places to play baseball, but not like Los Angeles.
No, especially not now. Especially not now.
I wanted to ask you about, I introduced you to the guys over at Mariachi Garibaldi. And has that turned into anything for you when you're doing your day-to-day job? Because you talked about this massive Mexican fan base, and you and I have seen the stadium, you know, when they rock out La Bikina and you see all these dudes dropping to their knees, singing to their girls. It's amazing to see that. You know, it's one of my favorite things about going to a Dodger game. I want to go on Tuesday night when they're there. I love it. But what are your thoughts on Mariachi Garibaldi?
The whole mariachi phenomenon and embrace is kind of like funny because I'm friends with a lot of them now. We follow each other. They're a big part like of the culture there, and then it's like a crossover into it because I have a playlist of the tracks that when I try to speak to the recognition of like the Latin community and their relationship with me. So I have a lot of certain songs that I know that I use those, especially when even if the team is like down, like, okay, I'm gonna go to this because I know this is gonna keep the crowd like kind of like into it, and I'm gonna get a sing along like from this, and I'm gonna get a big hit from a thank you, or when I in the street, just even talking to the older Latino population that works at Dodger Stadium, and then it's kind of like I'm know for a fact that's the number one thing why they say, well, you're a great DJ, because I play like those type of songs like Los Tigres, you know, different things like for them to kind of like kind of represent them, the show kind of like sort of the representation of it. So the mariachi culture is like different because I've learned how to in a flow with them, know what they're kind of gonna play, and then kind of like be able to kind of like reference it and then add my specialness to, or add what I can add to it. And even with the story with Kendrick Lamar and the singer that he saw at the Fernando celebration, and then him taking it and incorporating that in her, it's kind of like, that's a great story, you know what I mean? And to hear how that came about, it's like it just shows you how you have the two cultures like coming together. And it's gonna be kind of interesting to see as we move into the more kind of Japanese kind of like flavor with Otani, Yamamoto, and if we get the Osaka, like you know what I mean. You see how now you're gonna have these kind of like things to try to merge together to kind of like in celebration, kind of like of the same thing, you know. But it's funny that when I first started DJing, I never thought that I would have like that many mariachi type as friends. You know what I mean? That you come together to try to work with and be on the same stage with at times, because lots of times we're there together working together. You know what I mean? So and I think it's a perfect blend of what's needed, like kind of at the stadium, because to use that, you see a lot more stadiums now copying us that they have like the mariachis because we did it, and then the Rams do it. But then now you see even other. When I went to
New York,
I think the Yankees and the Mets, they both had mariachis. So I mean, like you see that influx, because even there, that's more of a Puerto Rican type of Dominican type of like fan base on that side. For them to incorporate mariachis was kind of like, that's different. But you can see the effect that it's had like kind of on us and what we do. You know what I mean? Because we are the number one show. We are the number one show in MLB, and we get a lot of praise for that. And then I'm not just tooting them, because you see that going to other stadiums. I got a chance to go to a lot of stadiums this year, and I'm friends with a lot of the DJs, and no disrespect to them, because everyone has their like own show for their own audience, but our show is kind of the best. We pour a lot into our show, and I have to commend our team, because we pour a lot into our show.
You guys do a lot of pre and post show stuff too, where it's like you're throwing a part. I mean, it's incredible. It's a great environment. Look, there's a lot of great places. San Diego's got a great thing going on.
Sure.
Obviously, New York and everything. When you were there for the playoff games in New York, how was that experience like for you?
It's different. That's my first time being at Mets Stadium, or what is it? What is their field? City Field. City Field. That's my first time being at City Field. They have a great tribute to Jackie Robinson. Like, I did not expect the tribute that they have to Jackie Robinson as you enter into the stadium. Like, it's Jackie. So I was very surprised and elated by that. I actually had wore my Jackie Robinson starter jacket that day, so it kind of like fit in. And their show is very New York-esque. I mean, it's very like DJ centric and very crowd pump centric, which I was surprised to see, because we kind of do that too. So it's like they have some very good like baseball fans, but being there, it's kind of like, the chip on the shoulder little brother, because they're not the Yankees. And it's like, so I want to try to take in and embrace, like, how are you, like, how does it feel to be a Mets fan here? It's almost like a Clipper or a Clipper fan, like, like, and they kind of say, so you're watching the game and they have the same kind of like fight in them. And then like at the end, they were I think the game, I forgot the game. I think I went to the game before. I think we won the game, but then they beat us the next game. I didn't go to that game, but they were like, just please, once you eliminate us, can you just please beat the Yankees? That's what they kind of say. You know what I mean? How
did the organization treat you too? I want to know about that. Like, how did the Mets? Did they?
The thing of it is when I went to all the games, I didn't go kind of as the on the team. I kind of like did my own thing, kind of like bought my own tickets and kind of just like sat, because I just wanted to like be a part of it. I did hit up every DJ that I know there just to say what's up, and if they told me to come by, I would come by and say say hello. But I kind of just like stayed in the like kind of like in the background, and then just to kind of like get the feel for it without having to be corporate. Like, I never really get a chance to watch a game and drink a beer and enjoy myself. So I was just trying to do that. You know what I mean? Good. So each stadium I went to, I didn't really get into the well, I'm the Dodger. I just kind of like went as a thing. Now, of course, I'd have conversations with people, because I did wear my ring and different things, and then people. So then you start see what it is. But the thing I remember about the Yankees, the Mets, after we won the game, you walk by, and then their whole fan base, they're not really in your face with it, but as you walk by, you hear "fuck the Dodgers." You know what I mean? And then you turn around, and then you don't know who like said it. So it's like they won't get in your face, but they kind of like wear it. But they are true like baseball fans. but they get on their players, like they start like complaining. So that's the one part I wanted to see definitely about New York baseball. But yeah, they're not in your face, kind of sort of, and they do have congratulatory like compliments for you at the end. But yeah, they walk past you. I got about 6 of those. Fuck the Dodgers. You know what I mean? So it's like whatever. Yeah. Or fuck no, actually it'd be fuck LA. Fuck LA. You know what I mean? So it's like short.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah. And then transversely you go to the Yankees, and so like by the time we get to the Yankees, we're up. Like and it's like so then that's a different thing. And so now you get to kind of stares and kind of like looks, but then you win that game or you lose that game. We lost that first game. And then so they're like, not tonight, not in our town. They talk a bunch of crap to you, and it's like in your face. And then you got to walk out of the difference between you walk out of the Mets. There's nothing around City Field, so you're just like to your Uber or to your car. There's nothing around it. But you walk out of Yankees, there's all those bars right there. So they're partying and doing whatever. So you have to make this long walk to get to your Uber. So of course they're talking head to you, and not tonight, and da da da. They kind of in your face, and you kind of like got to restrain yourself. But they're like, yeah, not tonight, not in our house, da da da. And it ain't over yet. So you just go, okay. All right, cool. And then you come back like the next night and we win it. And then so you're like, oh man, we just first of all, you can't believe we win it. You just like won it in their house. Like, cause you start telling yourself, like, how? Like, never in my life would you think, okay, first off, it's iconic, like to play the Dodgers and the Yankees because everybody wants that series. And then you win it actually in like New York. And you're like, okay, so you have to take all that in. Then you walk down. Because a lot of employees are there, and they sent us a text message like, okay, if you're here and you're an employee, walk down to this section. We're going to kind of like celebrate together. So you like make this long trek with all the other employees down to the field. And it was like long. It so many levels because we were at the top because they put all the employees at the top. So it's like you make this long trek, and then it's just all Dodger fans. And you're going through like the session, and everybody's let's go Dodgers. And then you have all these people that you see it at work, and they're plus ones. And you're like, man, so everybody's kind of like shocked because like you just beat the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, and that stadium cleared out. There was no like hardly any Yankee fans, and the ones that were standing around like the workers were still there. They were cool, but you got a lot of congratulations. Like a couple people told me, congratulations, you guys were the better team. Like you guys really beat us, which was good to hear. But as you come out, that city is cleared out. They like. I've never seen it. They didn't even go to the bars at night. So it was like, and then it could have been because we were in there for like so long, but they didn't feel like partying. It's like, what is his name? Nicholas Totino, the guy who's on all the Adam Sandler movies. Like I follow him. I actually met him 2 seasons ago when he came to see when the Yankees were here, and he was there early, and I went down and take a picture of him because I'm a big fan. And I follow him all the time and hear him complaining about we can't be doing this and doing that and da da. And it's like. That's also an added thing, like because the Yankees fandom is crazy. They think that they're supposed to win, and it seems like now we're turning it into the new Yankees with how we're just signing everybody and spending the money and don't really give a damn, and we just taking like whatever. It's almost like if we do it right, we're ready for like a run of hopefully like 3, 4, 5, 6 more. You know what I mean? Like a good I mean, so. That's it. That's kind of very surreal to beat the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, and then like the players we have and to see us keep adding players is almost like we're turning into the new Yankees with our payroll because we don't care about spending money. We just don't want to give you years, but we'll spend money. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we get Soto and Teoscar. You know what I mean? That's just like kind of how we do it. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy. I love that stuff about how you. Doing your DJ thing. This is like we talked about originally up in your perch, but realizing the power of those sing-alongs, right? But they're in Spanish, and you're like, let's rock that. I mean, that's cool. And I got to tell you, like, I speak shitty Spanish, so I sort of know what they're saying. I sort of know these songs, but the vibe jumps, right? And you're doing your job, like, it's so good. So I love that you're figuring that out, and now you're going to crack the code on the Japanese side. Man, it's great.
Yeah, but it's funny. The Japanese, they're more on, at least for me, like they're more on the American culture. So it's not like really, what I mean? They want to because even when they do it, most of the stuff is like hip hop, and that hip hop
They want
is
to party like
hard to understand.
Americans.
They want to put, they want to party like Americans, and their hip hop is like it's. I'm still trying to learn it and figure out where it fits into what I'm doing. You know,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'll
Latinos
figure it out.
want to party like Latinos and bring
Exactly.
everybody into what their culture is.
Exactly.
They're
Exactly.
proud of their ability to party.
They're proud of their ability, and they have a different nostalgia with what they do, and it's like learning. Like when I do quinceañeras, it's like learning the bandas and the norteñas and the
Cumbias and whatnot.
the cumbias
Yeah.
and the bachatas. You know what I mean? And then like knowing like which ones that they want, and then trying to have a mixture of those like together. Oh, and then the Fernando song was Musha Shula. That's the song that he. I used to. So when we were big on, whenever we do Taco Tuesdays, I'll do a Taco Tuesday like kind of like mix, which would rotate around. And one day, Efren, who sits next to Fernando, he texts me. He's like, "Hey, Fernando asked you to play Musha Shula." So that's another memory I have from Fernando. Like, so that's like, if I play Musha Shula, that's for Fernando. So he asked, that was a song he wanted me to play.
Oh man, that's nice, man. It's nice to have that. That's something special.
Yeah.
How is your Spanish?
Poquito, but
yeah,
I can
because
understand.
if you wanted to, you could pass for Dominican. You could say you were.
I know that's what happens. Most people at the stadium, especially like the older ladies that work there, they come to me, they start speaking like Spanish, and I go, okay, Poquito. So I try to listen to, like, first I go Poquito, and then if you slow it down, then I can figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so I'm getting there. I can figure it out, but you gotta like kind of go slow. I don't want to put the pressure on myself, like, but I mean, I get the right words in it, but sometimes it's so much Spanglish or like slang or like different things. It's kind of hard to like kind of catch up to it. You know what I mean? But I do all right.
So the thing about going on a championship run, though, I don't know how much you think about this, but I think about it on your behalf. The thing that struck me as I watched the ascension of the team, the historic season, Ohtani entering the 50-50 club, all these things that happened this year. And, I'm aware of the seriousness with which you take providing the musical backdrop at the stadium. But, there is some bleed over into that environment that you create for the fans and for the players, and the way that you inspire everybody in that moment. And so does it ever really hit you that you are really providing some textural fabric for a piece of history? I mean, this is a season that's going to be talked about for the rest of, baseball lore. Yeah.
It does normally, but this year it didn't. I'll be honest with you, this season was my most hardest to DJ this year. There was so much pressure going in that this team was put together. Like this team, everybody was we were like, as a family, we were like on edge, like trying to create different things, trying to figure out, trying to get it done. Like I was talking to a coworker the other day, and the only way that this, like, I had during playoffs, and I have someone asked me what kind of shoes I'm wearing. It's raining here in Ontario today, so I have my Jordan 10 rain boots on today. So it's like, even if it's raining, I have or it was raining, so I have my Jordan 10 rain boots. But there was so much pressure. I had to tell myself during the playoffs to slow down the pressure so I could enjoy being in the playoffs, because there was just a lot to try to figure out. Okay, fan engagement and energy for the team, and the team needs this and this, that, and the other, and like different ideas coming from like different places, which you welcome, but like it kind of threw me off my square like a little bit. Like, okay, well, what, like, because normally I'm like loosey goosey and I figure out and I'm trying to find things, and also there's a lot of pressure because people don't believe it or not, but right now there's not that much music to draw from. Music is trash right now. There's not enough stuff to go and get, to be new, to be fresh, to be whatever. And then like the mainstays for me that if people don't realize, I try to do I have a pattern in which I do. Like I'm always gonna play an old school song. I'm never gonna leave out whatever. But sometimes it might be a deeper cut for me, a deeper funk type of cut that I might play. So it kind of took me off my square and kind of like my rhythm, because now I was more into not being so over the average music fans like music ability. So I had to kind of like not dumb myself down musically, but kind of like think more of the more stadium friendly like type stuff. That was kind of hard for me to do because I had worked so hard at training myself to find the newer stuff, to kind of like do different things or get different. I always pride myself when people say, "Man, I'm always shazamming the songs that you kind of like play." So I kind of had to figure out my way to slide in my different things, keep the crowd like into it, keep representing like what it is, but also stay true to what the DJs give me compliments for in finding those new tracks, but also being able to navigate around not finding the tracks, because there's, like I said, the music now, man, it's not. And then for something like that, when you need energy, nobody's producing anything with like energy. You know what I mean? So you go to like the list, and then like you go to like some of the playlists of the songs that are still popular. There's still songs from like 3 years ago that are on like the iTunes playlist. So you really didn't have. And then no knock on the DJs, but most DJs are making edits right now where they're recreating like the songs. And it's like they're putting edits to songs that I don't think need edits. You know what I mean? Like I never want to hear Earth, Wind and Fire like edit. Like you don't need to mess with those songs. But then and then people are taking 3 and 4 songs and putting them on together. And that's confusing the fans, because you go somewhere, they think they're hearing one song and then it has the lyrics of another song. And it's like no knock on the edits. But to me, that just was like I couldn't really use that because it was more like confusing. So it was rough, and it's kind of like I didn't get I'm saying I got like writer's block, but it just was like a struggle to kind of predict, read some minds, and then kind of come up with what would work, but also keep what I bring to the table, to keep like the respect for like what I do. But like I said, it's like it's working against you right now, and I don't think like, other than the new Kendrick album, which is great and which is kind of like helping out like a lot, there's not really that much to go on to create to figure out. It's the same type of stuff. I think everybody's getting stagnant, and I don't know if that's due to the record labels or due to what's out there, but it's just like there's not a lot of creativity out there. No knock on what's that, because music is whatever. And I'm not trying to sound like the old guy who doesn't like anything, but you know what I mean? Like I try to reach back, see what my kids are listening to, and then like kind of like go from there.
Yeah, but you have a thing that you're trying to do at the stadium. And it just sounds like whatever mood the creation universe is in right now, it's not partying at the stadium. They're not giving you a whole lot to go on there.
No, they're like I would say the music right now is like depressing and not really giving you anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're big on the 77 BPM, but trying to rap like really fast over it, and it's like not helping like things. So it's like, but I will say the beautiful thing about music of the day is like a lot of in the clubs is 90s and different things. So that's kind of like waking back up that type of good vibe. So that helps out in the clubs, but it's just like not like stadium-esque. I'm lucky enough to do this vinyl night in this really exclusive hotel up in Santa Barbara, like probably 2 times a month now. And it's all vinyl, and I get to just play. It's not really like it's not really a dance floor, it's just a lounge. So I just get to kind of play music. So it's making me go into my vinyl and then go into my playlist that I normally play and make sure I buy every vinyl like from that, just to kind of get like their reaction. So that's kind of like, I like where music is from a club point of view, at least like the people who you get to entertain at the clubs, because you know, now that's about playing like more of the music that they haven't heard in a long time. So
this answer went in a direction I did not anticipate, man. But I like it. What on vinyl night? What are some highlights on vinyl night that you've been spinning lately that really?
I was so busy. I was so busy with the playoffs. I didn't get it, but I was shout out to my guy up in the Bay, Greedy Records. He gets my vinyl for me. So I hadn't been able to do it like the last 4 times. I had to have somebody fill in. So I was giving him everything that I wanted to have on vinyl, and he would send it to me. So I had like all this new vinyl sitting waiting for me. So this past Friday was the first Friday I could really rock it and use this new vinyl. But I had Redbone that I had been wanting to play. I had Chocolate Milk that I wanted to kind of like play. I finally got some like Barry White. I had to find my Hall and Oates and just like all that stuff like that. Like, and this is the first time I've able to like. So when I first started, I was nervous about it because I had two vinyl suitcases, not the crates, and so I loaded them both up. But I did not know it was in it because I hadn't spun vinyl in so long. So this Friday was the first Friday I went in there confidently. I didn't take my laptop in the room. I took my because if someone makes a request I could usually dip to my laptop, but I went in with confidence. Like I made sure my crate. I went with one suitcase. This gig is only 2.5 hours. So I did my homework. I went in with one suitcase, and I left my laptop in the room because they gave me a room at this hotel. So I was like, I'm going in, and I'm going to force myself to work out of this one crate. But I had filled it up with I had forced myself to fill it up with so much stuff on the rhythm that I want. But like I said, I couldn't wait to play my Redbone. I couldn't wait to play my Fly Robin Fly because it's that type of stuff. So it's like, you know what I mean, into the Hall of Notes. But I wanted to gear my vinyl case to albums that had 4 or 5 different tracks on it that I can play. You know what I mean? That's how you do a vinyl night. That's how you get by on a vinyl night. You know what I mean?
You need the density.
You need the density. Yeah.
You can't have. Now you said Redbone, and I got Come and Get Your Love.
Yeah.
And that's one. I don't know 4 others on a Redbone
there's not,
album.
No, Redbone. Look, after you Come and Get Your Love, Redbone, that's it. You Come and Get Your Love, and then Come Get Your Love. That's it. That's it.
Okay.
That's right. You
made an exception for Redbone.
You make an exception for Red. Yeah, that's one of those where you go in. It's the same thing as like for what
Fat
for
back.
what, so stuff like that. Like in like my and one of my favorites in my case is my boss gags, my lowdown, because I want to get to that. I got my Steely Dan.
But if you got Silk Degrees, got 6 hits on it. You know what I mean? You got some things you can play on there.
Yeah. You can play it on there. But I also added my Emotions and so I mean, there's tons of stuff. And like I said, it's not a dance floor. It's more of a vibe. So people come in and they're talking. Now they might get up and dance. When they get up and do dance, that's what you like. But you're talking like the crowd starts in like the 40s. 48 group of 40 and goes up. So they're in there. And it's in, like I said, it's in this exclusive hotel, and there's like people paying a lot of money so it's like you're just more like background, but you're still making them party. You know what I mean? If they want
it's a party, but it's a vibe. So in Emotions, you can play you can play Best of My Love if you want, but you can also play Flowers.
Exactly. You can also play Flowers. You know what I mean? And then you have your Diana Rosses where you get Upside Down and I'm Coming Out, and then you have your Donna Summers, and you'll have your Steely Dan's where you got 4 or 5 on that one. You know what I mean? So I needed it to cater so I could climb up BPM, so I could start at 100 and go up. And then because my first few times doing, I had vinyl all over the place, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, I didn't have my rhythm. So now I have my rhythm where it's like I pull out a record, play it, and then I can set it to the side in the right pile, the side that I know I'm going to use again for another track. You know what I mean? As opposed to, okay, I'm done with this one goes here. I'm not going to pick that up like again. But these over here, I know I got to fall back on. And you have your Jackson, you have your the 2 things that I was most proud about playing was I had both. So I had Central Heating and Too Hot to Handle, like Heat Wave. So so it's like having those to go to that. You know what I mean? And it's like it's such a vibe. You get to play the intros leading into the songs without having to like snap. Like I'm more like it's more like I'm at home cleaning up and I'm just like playing records. You know what I mean? I'm not really trying to scratch. I'm not really trying to like I'm just trying to create a vibe. But like I'm saying, to have those like both Heatwave, because it reminded me how much of a Heatwave fan I am that I forgot that I was. You know what I mean? That to have those, and I'm thinking, oh, I forgot. You know what I mean? Because Heatwave does something to me every time I play Heatwave.
And you can play all of Boogie Nights.
You can play all of Boogie Nights, all of Boogie Nights. If you still got Ain't No Half Step, you have so much to play on Heatwave, and even the deep cuts. The thing I like about this room, the deep cuts are, if they're funky enough, they'll still create the vibe in the room. You know what I mean? So that's what. So I'm just trying to create my, like, if someone books me for a party and they're like, oh, well, we're doing 70s, 80s. I just wanted to create my vinyl crate to be able to handle like that. So I don't need my laptop. So I confidently go in like, no, there's no laptop here. My laptop's in the room. You know what I mean?
All vinyl, and you can still specialize
Yeah,
in
it's still
vinyl.
specialized. Yes. And I want to open up. I think that's a fad, not a fad. I think that's more of a trendy thing that people are going to start doing is throwing vinyl parties. And I want to be prepared for that because I'm telling people, not too many people are going to be able to rock a vinyl party. You got to be at least in your 40s and your 50s because the young cats, they're not going to go out and buy the vinyl to do a vinyl party. They're not going to invest the money in, nor do they know what to invest in. So I think that's the new wave of kind of like trendy parties, and it might carry me for a while. I really trying to get prepared for that. Like I really want to do like, I really get pumped now when somebody says, "Hey, can you do a vinyl party for me?" Like, yeah, because I'm ready to go. Like that's half the battle. Having like your crate with what you want in it, and you know you can do it. That's half the battle. That's half the battle.
Get you a couple of discs of New Order and just kind of go down the row. And everything you need is in a given number of records. Hey, I want to throw two acts at you since we were talking about Bryce Vine one of the times we got on here. My cousins have a band, and I guess they're more like an act called Mother Mary Music, and they live in L.A. They're 6 foot tall blonde models, and they make their own music, and it's wonderful. It's a little more clubby, dance kind of music, but so Mother Mary Music, and then I got to throw Sage Logan in there because Sage is awesome. Okay, she rocks the house. She's also a local kid. And she has some great songs. She's an up-and-comer. And so when you guys go out, definitely everybody check out Sage and check out Mother Mary Music. That's my thing. John, do you have anybody new? John, John's playing in like 15 bands up there in Benicia. Always rocking the drums.
Yeah, man. I've gotten super busy as a drummer.
Oh, that's dope.
And I mean, the reality of it is, man, I can name 200 drummers better than me.
Right.
But, like you, I am attuned to what's happening on the dance floor. And I have a very specific focus on what my responsibility is to the band and to the dance floor. And I think that's what keeps me working. But, I'm always trying to figure out what the thing is. And right now, the lightning I have in a bottle is that one of the bands that I play in is called 16 Scandals. And it's all 80s. And we have a female singer.
Oh, that's dope.
Who is great.
I like that name. That's dope.
She's great at audience engagement. She picks great tunes. And, and she looks great and sounds great. And we have a terrific time. But we're always thinking like, this has a shelf life like everything else.
Right.
And you always got to kind of keep your eye on what the next thing is. And the reality
whatever
is,
way.
Yeah. And the reality is that, when we talk about the 80s now, it would be like when we were in high school talking about the 40s.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, and that was a thing back then. Remember when there was a big resurgence of people wanting to hear Glenn Miller, but that's not going to last forever. So, what comes next? And it's not just, if it's 80s now, it's going to be 90s because that's not how it works.
Right.
But
that's not how it works. It's not how it works.
Yeah. But I mean, like you, as a drummer, my focus is on the funk. And if you can keep it funky and keep the dance floor, then you can do a lot of things.
Most definitely. That's the one thing, keeping it funky enough to where even if people don't know it, it's funky. You know what I mean? And it kind of works. You know what I mean? It definitely works. So that's kind of like what I'm on now. I actually joined this thing called Color Red Music. And I think you pay $30 or $40 a month, and they send you a new vinyl of a group you never heard of every month. So it's pretty dope. I gotta ship it today. Like, Color Red Music. Yeah, it's just like a vinyl club, and they just send you like vinyl. Vinyl's crazy, man. Vinyl, it's dope. You know what I mean? I love vinyl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm actually thinking about taking the B Junkies classes just to kind of like reinforce and relearn my DJing over to see like what's out there. I told myself I was gonna take the class to kind of like just get back into it and like have somebody teach me how to spin vinyl other than like self-taught. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because have somebody show you a trick that you like, oh, I never thought about that. You know what I mean? So Yeah, lots of
You
different
know,
things.
I don't have a way. Pete and I have had this conversation. I don't. If somebody hands me a CD, I don't have anything in my life to play it on.
That's right.
But I have a vinyl record player.
Right. You know,
So
the
that's
vinyl
good.
record. I tell people all the time. It's like, and it's funny because more and more kids are asking for like vinyl record players, which is kind of dope. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You see it popping up in the stores around like that. So like the vinyl. You know what I mean? It's expensive as hell, but
Yeah.
man, like talking about for a new album, like $40, and then like a Beyonce or a like Andre. I saw Andre 3000's flute album was like $75.
Oh,
Which is crazy. Yeah, it's like crazy. Like 75 for a vinyl, but I mean I get it.
Yeah.
But I really want to get into more like vinyl part. It would be so dope if more and more places had a vinyl part. There's a place here called Gold Line that's owned by Peanut Butter Wolf. It's a bar. And DJs that spin there, so behind the bar is nothing but vinyl, and whoever spins there, you can only go there before and grab vinyl from there to play.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's dope. And that's why I kind of lean myself to, I kind of want to open a bar like that where it's just all vinyl and you have to like spin like only vinyl. And there's a lot of them are opening up around here. You know,
Yeah.
so vinyl's coming back, which is crazy.
That's
It's
nice.
crazy.
Yeah,
It
there's
is crazy.
there's more vinyl last year sold than any other physical medium.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then since you said color red music, it reminded me that I haven't acknowledged the fact that you're wearing 49ers gear. And I
Oh man,
appreciate
I'm on. We're struggling right now, so I got to kind of wear it every day to keep me in it. You know what I mean? We need to win. They got to beat the Bills, or it's that's all she wrote, Mr. Postman. You know what I mean? Probably. Yeah, they got a chance, but man, come on. You know what I mean? I'm still gonna be 49 till I die, but let's go. You know,
yeah,
we got to get it
let's
together.
go. It's been rough.
It's been rough. It has been rough, but hey, we got plenty of time, so that's another story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm wearing it to represent, because the minute you stop wearing it, everybody goes, your 49ers ain't doing so hot. So, no, I'm still 49ers. Bang, bang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's go. So,
You know, Pete and I have done hundreds of shows where he was wearing a Dodgers cap and now he's wearing an A's cap. So
I got
Brad
one
said something
California
about
team. I back
like
the
that.
A's, about the Giants.
I like that.
I love all of them, man.
I went to
I
A
want
Stadium
California
this
to
year.
win.
I went
Did you
to
go
A
to the
Stadium.
stadium?
Yeah. When the Dodgers was there. I like that the sound system is great. Their sound system was great. And the nostalgia of like walking and seeing like the old pinups, that was dope for me. That was dope for me. You know what I mean?
They were one of the
okay.
first stadiums to put a good sound system in. They had that for that era. They had one back in the late 80s that was bumping. And it was like, you can be proud of it. We can be proud of our sound.
Yeah. There's a guy who did a YouTube series on the worst seat in every stadium. And he would go to every stadium and find the worst seat. Usually you're right behind the foul pole or something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he found the worst seat in the Oakland Coliseum. And he was like, it's not that bad.
Not that bad. Yeah.
But I did have occasion it was a couple years ago, but I had occasion to be in a luxury box, and they still had tube TVs in the luxury box, man.
Oh, wow.
You want to talk about nostalgia.
Yeah.
So, hey, I hate to end on that note, so I'm just going to shift gears hard and go, hey, it's nice to know somebody who has a World Series ring, and now we know somebody who has two of them.
Yeah, I did a Justin Turner event, and I forgot who I was talking to. It was like last week, his golf thing, and Justin Turner said, and yeah, he's the only 2-time MLB DJ like champion. So it's kind of dope.
Yeah.
And I kind of have status in LA, because out of all the DJs, I'm the only 2-time like ring owner. I was talking to Imami, the Giants DJ, like this week, and she was like, you're the like she went back to my Roadshow podcast, the podcast about DJs, and she was like so everybody's going back and watching it, and she was like they said you're the number one, like you describe me as a number one DJ in MLB, and I was like, look, that's not me saying that. She's like, look, no, you are the number one DJ in MLB, and that's coming from her, who's another MLB like DJ, like for like a rival to Giants. That meant a lot. So I mean, I don't try to say that I am, but I guess I kind of know that I am. But at least I'm the right now the only 2-time like champ. You know what I mean? And so,
That's the other thing that you don't have to say that. It speaks for it. Speaks for itself.
It speaks for itself. So I kind of feel that, and then like I kind of like management kind of acknowledge that. So it's good to know that. It's good to know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and to be revered by so many of your peers, not only sports DJs but other DJs, is kind of like dope. So
Okay, well, to bring it full circle, man, it's nice to see your face. Always good to see you. Always good to reconnect. I'm gonna have to come by and ask you to sign something now.
for sure, anytime. My pleasure.
All right, I'm going to roll the credits unless you got anything else for us. Thanks, man, for coming on. Always a great time. I always appreciate you indulging me when I bring my friends over and whenever there's a game, because, it's just cool for them to have a special experience, and you're always down for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I got love for you guys. Anytime, anything you need, I got you. Don't worry about it.
We got to get a vinyl party going. That's what we got.
Yeah.
To do.
Yes, we do.
That's absolutely what we have to do.
Yes, we do.